Hey guys, today in the workshop we've got a 2005 Vauxhall Vivaro that's in for a starter motor. This is the 1.9 engine. A lot of people don't like doing the starter motors on these because sometimes they think they've got to either remove the drive shaft or remove a section of the exhaust. I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do that. I'll go through step by step now. And yeah, we'll show you how we do it here. So one thing that you need to remember is that the starter motor has a direct live from the battery. So first thing that we need to do before working on it to make sure it's safe is to disconnect the battery so we don't have any nasty shocks later on when we're trying to remove it. So using a 10mm on the negative terminal and just lay it to one side. And then we can just leave it like that. So looking inside the engine bay down to the starter, which is all the way back down there, for ease of access I'd recommend you remove this air pipe and this pipe that comes off the intercooler. When they are out of the way you can get your arm down there just to get access to some of the bolts. So there's a 7mm on each of the Jubilee clips holding these pipes on, so we'll just remove them now. Just undo the Jubilee clip on the top pipe. They should come undone. You don't have to connect it the other side from the intercooler because there's enough flex in this pipe. We can just pull it and guide it out of the way. So with that top pipe out of the way, with this lower pipe, I do recommend taking off both sides so you can just remove the pipe entirely. Again, it's just the 7mm Jubilee clip at the top and it's the same down the bottom. The bottom one can be a little bit awkward to get to. Does require a little bit of feeling around. And this just comes up, you can set it to one side. So now that we have access down here, there's an earth strap that comes out of the wiring room, goes to a little nut there. I believe it's a 10mm. You can remove that earth strap. Tuck that out of the way, because then you can get at the secondary nut underneath it, which is a 13mm, and you'll notice that this 13mm is part of another set of 13mm bolts that hold this plate on, which is a securing plate for the top end of the starter and the exhaust. So with the van in the air, you can see the starter from two places. Further off right in the back, where you can stick your arm through to get at some of the bolts, but you can see a little bit more directly from directly underneath. You can see it just there, but this is why people think you have to remove this section of the exhaust and also the drive shaft, but you don't have to do that. This is the plate I was talking about earlier that supports the exhaust, and this is the nut that goes through and supports the top end of the starter. So we need to take that off. This has had a starter recently, so these should be fairly okay to come off. There's another 13 here, and another one just below it. There is another one lower down here, but on this van it was already missing, so that out. This plate, give it a wiggle, it should come out. Okay, so now with our plate removed, you can see the starter is here. The two bolts that hold the starter in place on top of the bell housing, we'll get them again from up top later on. But right now, what I want to focus on is disconnecting the electrical wires from the back end of the solenoid here. This can be a little bit fiddly, but I'll show you how we manage it. With everything else removed up top, this is where we're going to focus on getting at those electrical connections on the back end of the solenoid. So what we're going to be using is a stubby 3/8 ratchet with a long extension and a 13mm. So this is going to get the main positive connection on the back end of the solenoid. So look in from directly underneath to the right. You could take this off, it's a little bit easier, but you can stick your arm up and around, which is what we're going to do. You're going to have to navigate around the oil feed pipes just to get the ratchet around the back. Sticking my arm around again. Just got to be careful on the right side of these pipes, otherwise they'll get in your way. Get on the back end of the terminal. Just be careful because the nut and the spring washer behind it may drop when you take the socket off. Okay. So I've got the socket and the nut. Let's see if I can stick my arm around to grab the spring washer. And now we can remove the actual terminal from the top of the solenoid. So we put this out of the way, and then we do the same again but with an 8mm socket so we can get the switch wire. So with my arm going up and around again, this is really hard to see while you're down here trying to move your arm around and see where exactly you're going. You do have to kind of feel for it. I can get my fingers up there. And it does help if you have longer arms. Some people might say it'd be better to take the starter off first and then take these wires off, but in order to get the starter out, we're going to have to rotate it on itself. So with these still connected, it's going to stop you from doing that, so you've got to do it while it's in place. Off to the side. The starter is held on with two 13mm bolts. This one, and there's one on the other side which you can't really see from down here. Not clearly anyway. So we'll disconnect our one from up top, but we just want to crack this one most of the way so we know it's going to go slack. Now we'll go up top just to catch that other bolt. You can get the other starter bolt, which is this one here. It's a bit difficult to see, but there's things just obscuring it from your view from downstairs. So again, 13mm spanner. Again, you're going to have to navigate your way around the wiring rooms. This can be a little bit fiddly. Okay, so that's out. That one there. You could, if you really wanted to, undo that top bolt as soon as you take the air pipes off, but I like to do things in stages, so it's just the air pipes come off, then we go underneath the van and we take off that securing plate, then we take off the electrics, and then we take out the starter bolts. Doing it like that helps me to kind of organise the job and know what bolts I'm doing in what order. So it's up to you on the method that you want to use, but we're just showing you how we would do it, and that's how I like to kind of keep track of the job in my mind as I go. So now the van's back up in the air, I'm going to take out that final starter bolt and then we'll try and navigate it out. This is the last bolt for the starter. You can see it coming loose there. There's a dowel on this as well. Sometimes these have a tendency to stick and the starter can be a little bit awkward separating from that. As I said, this starter has been replaced already recently, but the customer's had a few other problems with this engine. So we're just going to remove this starter today. Again, the placement of these bolts can be quite awkward. They are quite far in, so long arms does help. Come on. Also helps if you speak nicely to the van as well. That bolt out. Okay, and here comes the fiddly bit. So the starter is separated now. It doesn't have a lot of space to move backwards because of the oil feed and return pipes that go to the turbo, and it can't just come straight directly out because the solenoid seems to be in the way. So what you are going to have to do is rotate it clockwise as best you can so the solenoid goes towards the engine, and what you're going to try to do is turn it upside down. When it's upside down, everything seems to kind of align and it can come out. And you'll notice you will snag it on a few things first. So when it's upside down, it'll still come out from the underneath. And there you go, she's out. So that is how you remove the starter motor out of one of the older Vivaro vans. It's the same on the Trafic, the 1.9 engines. So yeah, a little bit fiddly, but nowhere near as bad as some people think. So yeah, hope this helped, guys. Please give us a like, share and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Cheers.